Hey friends! So the most important tool in my entire workshop is by far my bell knife skiving machine. It's a bit of a mouthful. My bell knife skiving machine. I use it for everything. Now, by most important, I don't necessarily mean the tool I use the most, because it probably isn't. By most important, I mean the tool that if you took away, I would miss the most. It is an absolute game changer by far. And the biggest problem I had with it, because it is not without problem, is when I first bought it, I didn't really know what I was doing, and most importantly, I didn't know how to sharpen it. And keeping a bell knife skiving machine sharp is so crucial to the operation of it. So today I'm going to tell you exactly how to sharpen your bell knife skiving machine so that you can keep it running perfectly. So let's dive straight in and learn exactly how to sharpen your bell knife skiving machine. So to start with, you obviously know what one is because you bought one, and my guess is you probably use it. I don't have to walk you through that, but let's start off by setting some ground rules. Let's start off by setting some general information on how we're going to go about sharpening it. So there's three main knobs we're going to use, two of which are rotating knobs. One of them is more of a lever, but for the purposes of this I'm just going to call it a knob, I think. There's A, B and C. Now they aren't called this. I actually don't really know what they are called, but for the purposes of making this as simple as possible, we're going to call it A, B and C. C is something that we're going to kind of set and forget. Now I know I'm moving through it backwards, but you'll understand why in a moment. Use it to start the sharpening, and we're going to use it to stop the sharpening, and everything in between we're not really going to use it. C is a lever that you pull out, you lock down, and its purpose is only to engage and disengage the grinding wheel. Now underneath the big casing that is a bell knife skiving machine, we've got a whole bunch of very complicated looking things. And what C does is it engages and disengages that grinding wheel. The grinding wheel is exactly that. We're going to use it as the primary mode of sharpening, but we're not actually going. And knob A is what we're going to use to control that grinding wheel. But it's not turned on all the time. It's not spinning all the time. You can have it spinning all the time, but I'm not going to go into the process of the techniques of using a bell knife skiving machine in this video. If you want me to make a video about how to use a bell knife skiving machine, I'm more than happy to do so. I just need you to leave a comment down below in the description. Comment down below. Tell me that you want me to make a video on how to use a bell knife skiving machine. If you've just bought one or you're thinking about buying one, let me know down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel whilst you're down there. We're going to use C to activate that grinding wheel. We're going to put it out, we're going to lock it down, and that is going to move the wheel that is on the drive shaft, if you like. It's not a car, but the drive shaft. And it's gonna lock the drive wheel for the grinding stone onto that drive shaft, and it's going to allow that driving shaft to drive the belt that powers the grinding wheel. I hope I'm making sense. Pull it out, lock it down, and that is going to engage the drive wheel onto the drive shaft for the belt that turns the grinding stone. Great, so that's turning. Brilliant. Now it is time to adjust the bell knife. You can only sharpen the bell knife when it is in the correct position laterally, towards and away from where that grinding wheel activates, because the grinding wheel only moves towards and away from you as a user. When you're sitting at the machine, you can think about the wheel as moving towards the grinding wheel, moving away from you and towards you. And we're going to control that in a minute, but first of all we need to make sure that where the grinding wheel comes towards you, that the leading edge, the blade of that bell knife actually lines up with the right part. We need to make sure that that's the right part. And B is how we do that. B is I believe they're called worm gears. Now I'm not entirely certain if that's the right term. I believe they're called worm gears, but that's how this is going to work. So we twist B. It takes quite a lot of movement because it's microscopic adjustments down this. It's fractions of a millimeter adjustment up and down this worm gear. So the more you twist it to the left, anti-clockwise, the more your bell knife moves towards the feed wheel and towards where that grinding stone is going to meet it, because the grinding stone sits more or less where your presser foot comes down. So you want it very, very close proximity to that. Again, we're not setting up a machine during this. I'm just giving you a bit of a background so you understand how this all works. Right, so once you moved it to the correct position, and it's about the width of a piece of paper from the presser foot, and that is approximately where it's gonna need to be. So next step, we've moved the bell knife towards it, we've set it up, we know it's in the right position, and we're ready to sharpen. Again, if you want to know how to set it up, leave a comment down below. I'd love to explain and tell you how to set it up. I just don't have time in one video to do both. The next thing you're going to want to do is get a Sharpie or any felt tip marker. Sharpie is just what I've got to hand. And we're going to activate the bell knife by putting our foot on the pedal. And we're going to draw onto our blade. And this is going to tell us when we've sharpened it. And this is going to tell us how much up the blade we're traveling. And it's going to tell us how much of the blade we're eating away at the same time. It's going to tell us lots. So we're going to spin the blade with our foot, and we're going to touch the Sharpie to that blade, same as if you're sharpening a normal knife. You want to know if you're hitting the right part of the normal knife. So now we've got the Sharpie on the blade. Perfect. We're now going to want to bring our stone towards our blade, because we can't sharpen the blade without the stone. It's the whole purpose of the stone. So there's like a rod thing that when you twist A, it either screws away from you or it comes towards you. Left is towards you, right is away from you, clockwise is away from you. We're going to very, very, very gently, literally like a degree at a time, we're going to rotate knob A towards us. We're going to rotate knob A to the left, counterclockwise. And what this is going to do is it's going to slowly bring that very fast spinning grinding stone, and it's going to bring it towards the very, very fast spinning, at the moment quite dull, bell knife. So we're going to very, very slowly bring it towards us, and we're going to stop when we start seeing sparks, because that means it's making contact, which is good. That's what we want. Contact means sharp. Fabulous. So it's going to initially make very small sparks. So we're going to bring it slightly further. We're going to twist the knob slightly more until we get a little bit heavier spark. We're going to wait maybe 5-6 seconds, not until the sparks stop, because that means you've worn all the blade away, and that's bad. Don't want to do that. This is very, very incremental sharpening. We don't want to wear the entire blade away in one session. That'd be bad. We count to between 5 and 10 seconds. 1, 2, so on and so forth. Maybe even 3 to 5 seconds. We're going to rotate the blade. We're going to rotate the grinding stone back away from our blade, and that's to the right or clockwise. Is it sharp now? No. It's sharper, but we have one more step. We need to take the burr off the back. Well, 2 more steps. We need to take the burr off the back, and we're going to use a little orange stick that should have come with your bell knife, and we're going to touch it to the inside of the bell knife. Now, This is a public safety warning. Be careful. Be careful. And that is not me saying this because I just for shits and giggles. This is me saying this because I do not want you losing your fingers. This is an incredibly sharp blade. Even when it's dull, a spinning blade will still cut your finger off. So be incredibly, incredibly careful. Some machines will even have a little hole for you to stick the rod through so you don't put your hand in the blade. Mine doesn't, which is why you can see me doing it in this way. But be careful. You've been warned. So we're going to touch it to the inside of that bell knife. That's going to take the lip off the inside. It doesn't take much. You just got to put a little bit of pressure on it. Whilst it's spinning, obviously, and that's going to take the burr off the inside. It's like sharpening the back of your knife. Take a deep breath that you haven't lost your fingers, because losing your fingers is bad. Next, we're going to touch the grinding stone back onto the bell knife just for a second, not for the 3 seconds like before, just because you've got it's done that. The first round of grinding is given it that. We've straightened it back out, but there might be a little lip on the outside. We're just going to touch it on the outside again. And that's just going to take the lip off both sides. And then we're going to back it away a couple full turns just so you don't accidentally touch it, because accidentally touching it will put chips in your blade. Chips in your blade equals bad. You need to grind a whole bunch of it back. Don't do that. We're gonna rotate it back away. We're gonna rotate it clockwise away from us, and that's gonna push that grinding stone away from the blade, and that's good. That's safe. Final step, we're gonna lift that lever back up, which is why I said we only need to use it twice during this procedure. We're going to lift the grinding wheel back up, disengage it, put it in that safe position, and we're done. And you can see that the Sharpie's coming off the blade. It has come off the blade during this process, so you can see that the grinding wheel has been ground. The bell knife wheel has been ground. The bell knife has been ground, which is good. It's sharp. And then if you want, you can run a test piece. I would recommend it. Run a test piece of leather through it. You shouldn't see any marks on that leather. It should go through really nice and smoothly. Ta-da! You have sharpened your bell knife. If you're not a factory, if you're a factory, you'll need to do this regularly throughout the day. If you're not a factory, you should be able to go days, if not weeks, without sharpening your bell knife. And that's what we want. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a really fun one to make, because this is a video I wish I had when I started my leatherwork journey after I just got my bell knife machine, and I wish I had this video to teach me how to sharpen it, which is why I'm making it now. Have a fantastic week coming up, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.